Welcome everyone to the Creativity Cocktail second year celebration. I am Winston Wilson. I am so glad that you are here with us today. And I'm going to introduce very briefly our guest today. We started off this path years ago, and it's so great to have so many people that's been part of it today join us. So first we've got Tamina Ward. Hello, Tamina. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you
Great
so
to
much.
have you. And then we've got our wonderful Ivory Shields. Ivory, how are you? Great to have you today. Hello,
Wonderful. Glad to be here.
Great to have you as well. And then we got the wonderful Casey Ashley. Casey, how are you today?
Great. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. And then we've got the wonderful son of mine, Caesar Wilson. Hey, Caesar, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
That's fantastic. And we've got the most wonderful Natalie Fikes in the house. Natalie, how are you?
Hi.
That's awesome. And then our honoree for today, we've got this most wonderful person that's had an impact on my life. I'm going to say a whole bunch of cool stuff about her as time goes on. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. Hello, Toni Simmon's-Henson. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
That's awesome. So we are going to get kicked off. I just want to let you know, if you've never heard the Creativity Cocktail before, it's a podcast for all creators. Wherever you are, whoever you are, however you are a creative person. And so we're glad that we've had this podcast for 2 years. We've been all over the world. It's been an amazing part of my life personally. And so I'm so grateful to be here with you today. And to kick it off, and this is something I learned from a friend of mine a few years ago, is that when we have a creative event, we should do something to like bless the event, to make everyone know that this is going to be a creative endeavor where we're going to talk, but we're going to also engage. And so we're going to have a reading from a play written by a guy named Winston Wilson, and it's going to be called Jet Blacks. And I'm so excited to have the two members of our organization that were part of the beginning of the Creativity Cocktail. Casey J. Ashley was the very first guest ever, and Ivory Shields was the second guest ever. And so it's amazing to have the two of them do this reading of Jet Black's nightclub, and it's just an amazing, amazing thing. So Toni and I are going to go backstage, and we're going to bring Casey and Ivory up to do this reading for us, and Caesar's going to be helping out the stage direction. So here we go. Let's kick off the Creativity Cocktail second year celebration. So here comes Casey, here comes Ashley, and here comes Ivory, and here comes Caesar. Let's get it going, everyone.
Roosevelt?
Bill.
Oh my God, you've grown.
Back up, person.
Thank you for meeting me.
What?
I know
you.
you're gonna
Say, your mother abandons you, and the abandoner knows what I'm going to say.
Jay.
Don't change the subject.
He
He
was
was
my
okay, thanks to Jackie Jones. Do you really care?
Yes, I do care.
Do you really care? Baby, you know, you're crazy for coming out here. What's your hidden X? What are you trying to get?
You don't know, Bill, but I've always wanted
Know
to
what?
be with you. You don't know what happened.
You know, I've thought about it. Then I remember that I was there. I had to deal with the tirades and his ultimate final crash. Not you. Our lives would have been a disaster if it was not for Miss Jackie. But you didn't care. Most would have taken their kids with them. Where the hell did you go?
Bill, I cannot make excuses. I have made many, many mistakes, and I was just as messed up as he was.
What? Where the hell did you go?
Yeah, I
What do you
drank.
mean?
I drank, Bill. I drank too, but you didn't remember that, did you? And I did drugs. Oh, honey, I did all the drugs. There wasn't nothing I couldn't handle. And I needed help. Miss Jackie, she promised me that she would take you in because I needed to live.
What kind of thing is that to say? Kids need to live. I don't remember drugs like that. I do remember my mother's face. I remember violence, hitting, beating, screaming, you leaving. Where did you go?
Rehab. Then Jersey. Then rehab. Then Baltimore. Then rehab. Then Norfolk. And eventually I found my way here to Atlanta.
You could have went to rehab here with us.
No, Vel. I couldn't have done that. I was on drugs, Vel. I was on drugs.
Why didn't you contact us? You didn't even write it, especially after he died.
I thought about it. I thought about it. I drove all the way up and I got off the exit of one in Southern State and I was with someone and I wasn't ready. And we pulled off the exit and we left.
Why?
I couldn't do it. And I saw Jay, and he looked just like his father. And then I saw that he was doing the same thing that his father was doing.
Really? Why didn't you stop? Your motherly instincts didn't kick in? You didn't want to nurture him?
He didn't recognize me.
I don't recognize you. Who are you?
I wasn't ready, Vel. Letters were written. They didn't get mailed, though. And Jackie, she did call me every year on your birthday. She called me after every big thing that happened. I saw your touchdown against Glen Haven. I used to steal satellite cable just to see it. And sometimes Jackie would call me and I would just listen. It seemed like it was a whole nother world on a whole nother planet.
I can't forgive you. I never will. It hurts too much. I guess I didn't know. I guess I didn't know my own mother.
Well, who does? Mother's histories, they aren't something that they share with their kids. Though I was 15 years old when I had you. My cousin had just moved to Norfolk 5 years earlier, and I loved everything about Norfolk. Compared to Lincoln, where I came from, I just needed to get away. Get away from my father, and that's why we moved here. And I just got a ticket, and I came.
You ran away?
Yeah, pretty much. Sounds weird, I guess. I was wandering from one crazy man to another.
There's a lot of running.
Yeah.
I never met him, Granddad.
Oh, well, I did something right. Good. Plus, he died when you were a baby anyway.
Grandma?
I don't know. She was a lot like me on certain levels.
What a cycle. Lots of running. I'm grown. Between when I was a kid and now, I could have been ready to hear this.
I don't think you would have been ready to hear it, Roosevelt. I wasn't even ready.
So I'm working, and Jay, we're independent. And now you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready now. I'm ready. After the virus, after Jackie, I did not want another chance to go without
I don't know if I am. Will ever be.
Well, you just said you were grown. And when you're grown, things are harder, but you're a lot stronger when you're grown.
Are you giving me advice?
It's the first time for everything. And sharing is a better word.
What gives you the right?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing, Bill. I have no
Why
right.
did you come here? How do you know I got this place? Jack?
Yeah, Jack is actually my friend. There is no logic for me coming here this time. Honestly, I just felt something. I just felt like I felt spiritually compelled to come here at this time right now. Because I have a new life in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of cliche, but when I was younger, there were a lot of movies that said Atlanta was like the place to go to. It was like the place to go to if you're running from trauma, like an oasis of healing. And I have a new life, Vale.
Well, what do you mean by new life?
Well, my firm is involved in commercial real estate.
Firm.
Yes. Yes. My company. Life has changed, Val. And, you know, I eventually had to learn to grow up. I had to use the strength that God gave me to transform my life. I had to do the work. It was my responsibility, my life. Because I had to save you both from me.
From you.
From me. I couldn't have taken two boys down to my hell. Only I could go there, Bill.
I don't get it. So down. So bad. So what was it? After all of that.
I don't know how to say.
What do you mean? Just say it.
I saw this. You remember this picture?
This is a championship game. How'd you get this?
Yeah. Jackie sent it to me. My sons. My sons could survive and grow and thrive and live. He was in a championship game. I looked at this picture every single day. With this football in your hand, I went to business school every day and I looked at this picture. It inspired me. When I adopted Jayla, I looked at this picture.
Jayla.
Now, Val, I really wanted you to be proud of me.
Don't know what to say.
I just wanted you to be proud of me. Then I heard about your NYU degree. Now I remember you debating and talking your uncle to death.
You swore you could talk.
Well, he would always lose to you, that's for sure.
He would get mad and start cursing when he started losing.
Well, he was so embarrassed to lose to a little kid.
But that was the best part.
Well, you provoked him too.
Jayla.
Oh, she is a wonderful little girl. She was abandoned by her mother. Her mother left her. She She never met her.
You got a picture? Cycle.
Yeah.
Trying to break it?
Yes. That's her.
How is this possible?
What?
She looks just like you.
You know, you're not the first person to say that. I think it's just fate, I guess. You have made me so proud on so many levels. And I've followed everything you've done, including your community work. All of it.
Thank you. Jack told you?
Jackie and Jack. You know, and I saw the live stream when you got that recognition.
I've known Jack for years, and he only mentioned that you guys knew each other in passing.
Oh, God, no. Jack has been my friend forever. And he shared with me how he's feeling about this club. I may be able to get him some funding for it.
I don't know what to say. You can get him funding.
Oh, yeah. This club has a special meaning for me. Because back in the day, this was a hip-hop spot.
Rap? You were
No.
into...
No, baby. There's a difference between hip-hop and rap.
Here we go.
Okay. Ooh, drugs, sex, the clothes, being underage. Oh my goodness. But I tell you, it was great. It was a great time. So many friends, so much fun. Let me see. What's this place called? The Latin Nickel. A big neon sign right there. Ooh.
Sounds like a restaurant.
Oh, honey, it was wonderful. I met him here.
Him?
Yeah. He was a person, and he wasn't always what you remember. At first, I really thought he wanted to be a good dad.
I remember some moments. He used to take me to Coney Island. Every Saturday, we would go to the Druckers for a haircut on Nordstrom Avenue.
Oh, you hated that.
I had snappy naps. Miss Jackie will call him now.
Oh, Jackie, my heart.
She was the heart of Lincoln. You know, when she passed, they used the auditorium in the junior high for a memorial service. There were people standing outside.
Wow.
They changed Pennsylvania Avenue to Jackie Avenue.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's wonderful.
She was...
She is your mom. Yeah.
I called her that sometimes.
Because she is. Well, she was.
Keep telling Justine just to write a story about her. Get Spike or Jordan to direct it.
You love her.
I did. And do. She was special.
Justine.
Yes.
Yeah, Jackie would tell me how you looked at her, and as you got older, how that look would deepen. I heard.
Look, I gotta get some things for later.
Khalid's contract day, right?
Jack keeps letting it all out, doesn't he?
It was good to see you. You're amazing, Roosevelt.
Jay?
I'm still not ready.
Once I tell him,
It's okay. That's okay. No more secrets.
on a deep breath.
There are just so many things that I've done wrong, Roosevelt, and I don't have any belief that just talking to you this one day will fix anything. But I just needed to start somewhere.
Can I?
I'll reach out to you. And you'll meet your sister. I've just learned that I have to take small steps in order to really achieve anything. Tell Jay, what you talking about, Jay?
What?
Oh, I used to say that to him when he was a baby and he would crack up. So maybe he'll still remember.
Okay.
All right. Mom touches Val, and that is the end of the scene. Thank you so much, Ivory and Casey. What a phenomenal way to start off our 2-year celebration. So I appreciate you guys so much. That's fantastic. We are going to bring up our honoree for today. But by the way, wherever you are out there, give Casey and Ivory a big round. I'm going to bring everybody up so we can do it all together. Everybody, let's come on up and give a big round to everybody. Give a big round to... That is so amazing. So right now we are going to talk to our honoree, Miss Toni Henson. Hey, Toni, how are you?
I am fantastic. That was so good. You know what I liked about that? I liked the pacing of it because it made you feel like it was a genuine conversation. And so you've got two phenomenal actors, Casey and Ivory. Hats off to you guys. That was really good. That was really good. Really good writing too. Did you write that, Winston?
I did write that. Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, that was a good scene. You really got drawn right in right away. Excellent job. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. So now we're going to talk to Toni a little bit about her path and some of the things that she's up to. So Toni, so great to have you with us today. And so let's talk a little bit about you and your path with the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. So let's talk to you. So thank you so much for being our honoree. And I'm going to give you some news that you don't know of once you finish talking.
Okay. I love surprises. You know what? I'm so happy that Winston, you started this creativity cocktail podcast. Artists really need a platform where we can share our triumphs, our challenges, the things that we go through, so we can hear each other say, and particularly our artists of color, we can hear each other and we'll know that we're not in this by ourselves. That as a creative, I don't know if people really get how you really, when you know you're an artist, is when you can't breathe unless you're doing your art. You feel suffocated. You feel like there's something inside of you that's swelling up like being pregnant and you need to birth it. And that's when you really know that you're an artist. And it can come from it doesn't even have to come from the traditional art realm. It can come from science, technology. It's just a thirst and a need to get it out, to take it in and then get it out. I also know that as an artist that we have really, really good extrasensory sensory nerves. Like our nerve endings are really exposed. And I believe that this is God's way of saying to the world, I need you to feel this. I need you to feel injustice. I need you to feel when people are in pain, because you are the people, or we are the people as artists that have to remind the world that we are all human. That's our job. We have to remind the world that we are all human. We're not robots. We're not just logical thinkers. We're not technology, computers, and devices. We are all human. And that's our job. That's our calling. And so if you're an artist out there, you feel like, you just sense everything extraordinarily, then understand and know that it is a gift. It is truly a gift. And you have to channel that gift. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. It's a matter of maintaining your mental health and insanity. So,
Wow. I feel the same way. I shared with someone recently that sometimes we're looking for spirituality in lots of places. And like you said, sometimes our spirituality is our creativity. Sometimes we think it's two separate things. When we create something beautiful in this world, to your point, to what you said, it's like God tapping us on the shoulder saying, hey, you are creative. Put something in this world that you don't have yet, that you haven't seen.
yes.
That is so wonderful. And I think that you are right on point with all of this. My gosh, Toni, it's rare that I get super inspired so early in the morning. I'm so incredibly excited. You can see some of the comments from some of the colleagues that are listening to us today. So let's talk a little bit about the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. This year is the 10th year of it, and this is a very special year. There's so many wonderful things happening. I know the theme of the year is Beyond Borders. So please talk to everyone that's out there a little bit about Beyond Borders and Atlanta Black Theater Festival and how they can get involved and learn more about it.
Well, it's been a rough 18 months for everybody in this country, and particularly people of color. And I don't think these things up, they just come. As an artist, you can understand that. And so what came to mind for me was Beyond Borders. After January 6th and the insurrection, I had to leave this country. I could not take on anymore emotionally, and that sounds selfish because I think about George Floyd's mother. I think about Ahmaud Arbery's mother, not his mother, his family, because George Floyd lost his mother, but his family. And I say, who are you to want to leave the country? Who are you to say, I'm just going to pick up my stuff and go? But I also understood and knew there was nothing that I can do about it at that particular time. And the thing that I needed to focus on was my own personal mental health. And so I left on January 30th and I went to Columbia. And people say, why did you go to Columbia? Because it was open. That's why I went to Columbia.
Good reason to go,
It was
yeah.
open, and at the time their numbers were going down, and Mexico's numbers were going up. And Mexico, I'm talking about COVID infections, and then so I said, let me go. And I'd never been to South America, so I went to, and I stayed for 3 weeks. So the plan was to stay for 3 weeks, and I started creating, and the everything started flowing, everything. And I said, this is a place of healing. They didn't focus on the news. They didn't focus on what was happening. They didn't focus on the big lie. It was just a tune out, a complete tune out. But what happened was the voices stopped, and I started to begin to hear from God. And I and renew my relationship with God, because I felt like I was angry and getting bitter. So I decided that this is what I needed to do. So during that time, or before then, even before then, I'd started hearing Beyond Borders, those two words, Beyond Borders, just like I heard the Atlanta Black Theater Festival 10 years ago. And I noticed that over the years, and this is where you have to be aware of yourself as a vessel, and to allow things to happen. I take no credit for the ABTF platform. It is truly God sent. So I started realizing that I was developing relationships with people from other countries. And I began to focus on Africa. And I realized I spent the same thing happened in 2019, and I ended up spending 52 days in Africa, and I spent 53 days in Colombia. And I started to see a pattern that God wants us to, or allow, in other words, how do I put this so it's palatable, because it's sometimes it's just instinct and words are not adequate to shape it. And basically what I began to realize is that we need to start cultivating our relationships beyond our borders, and it's to help us cultivate a global mindset. And this is what I said, you know what, it's time to use the platform, not I, but this is what I understood. It's time to use this platform to seek audiences outside the United States. And it's funny because this comes with a whole lot of activism, or this thought process comes with activism. We have spent the last however many decades, centuries, trying to convince others that we are valid, looking outside of ourselves for validation. And God already told us we're made in his image.
All of us.
So we go, but we're looking outside of ourselves for validation. And then the first thing I learned, I got a business background. I got a business degree from Howard University. And the first thing I learned in my marketing class, and then over the years of marketing, is when you're selling something, you sell stuff to you sell it to people who want to buy it. You know,
That's
if I'm
right.
in the market for a horse, I'm going to buy a horse. If I'm not in the market for a horse, I don't want anybody coming to me trying to sell me a horse. So what I started thinking about was, when I was in Ghana, I was invited to speak for the Screen Actors Guild. Right.
Oh,
now,
really?
deep down inside, yes. And
Yeah.
I wasn't the only speaker in Ghana at this event. It was about 50 people in a room, and they were all actors, and they were all a part of the Screen Actors Guild of Ghana. But I was the one, and the newspapers were there and everything, but I was the one who made the news, because I was the only foreign person that spoke. And it was in the headlines all over the news, and people were talking about how this American actor or artist or producer was here and spoke to this group. And then what I realized over the time is that Africa has created this clarion call. And I don't mean the whole entire continent, but I mean specific countries, particularly Ghana, has set out a clarion call. And they're saying that they want to build relationships with Americans, specifically Americans. And you'll hear it. I'm tuned into a lot of the news networks, and I listen to a lot of the speeches that the ambassadors give, and the ministries give, and the leaders of the country give. They are looking, and they're always saying, you know, during George Floyd's situation, they even had a rally on behalf of just because they want to show solidarity. And what I realized was that there's a place for us there.
Right.
And this is a controversial thing. A lot of people are not ready to hear this, but they are ready for us there. And what we have to begin to do is we have to begin to think globally. We have to think about a global mindset. And back to that sales course. How do you succeed in sales? Sell to people who want to buy what you have to sell. So here in the United States, we're experiencing a situation where we got to beat people up, beg them to come and see our stuff. Okay, come and support us. But we have 1.3 billion people who absolutely love American culture. They consider us their lost relatives, and they want to hear what we have to say. So they want to do collaborations. They want to do partnerships. They are ready. They are poised, and we're here. We've got all the knowledge. We've been educated at the best universities, including the University of Hard Knocks, and everybody in this space has a PhD in hard knocks as an artist. So then we go over there, we bring that knowledge, we bring that technology, we teach, we train. They're opening up the doors and they're welcoming us. Every single conversation that I had is always about American University trained. You're American University trained. You're Howard University trained. You're NYU, New York University trained. They absolutely adore and revere education. And anybody who has one, again, including the School of Hard Knocks, they're asking us, they're begging us to bring that knowledge and technology and understanding and empowerment and teach the people of Ghana that, not as a superior person, not as someone who knows more, but for someone who can sit beside them and collaborate.
This
And
aligns so
that's
much. I was going to say this aligns so much to the vision of the Rising Tides charity and the Creativity Cocktail, because here as we stand, this conversation today marks 100 episodes. And so when we first started, we said, why don't we spend time and take the talents of all of the people that are with us here today and go to another country? And this was 2 years ago.
Wow.
And what serendipity that we're here talking about how the Atlanta Black Theater Festival is beyond borders. And you're so right about them needing and wanting us. I had the same conversation with someone recently about the country of Bermuda, who was clamoring for us to bring theater there. And so when you think about beyond borders, it's everywhere, Toni. You are right on point with this.
Well, you know, I realize that there are three types of people. There are three types of consumers. And they're ones that are trendsetters. They get it automatically whenever something comes out new. They want to be the first in line to get it. They're visionary. They're pioneers. And then the second type of consumer is the bandwagon person, the crowd, not necessarily in a negative sense, but, you know, they don't want to be left behind. And they're the mass market people. Those are the people on the mass market level. And then the third are the ones that you got to pull along. You know, those are the ones who are, you know, they absolutely understand that if they don't get on board, they're going to be left out. And so because those are the three types of consumers, it seems like we've been spending the last however many years trying to sell our art to the third part, the people who are just kicking and screaming, coming along, the ones who don't value what we do. And it's just time to get on board and become the kind of producer that attracts the market consumer number one or market consumer in category number two, and scale. It's easy to scale. A lot of people don't know I've been doing marketing for 30 years. I've been developing a relationship with Africa for a long time because Facebook advertising allows you to target your market. So let me talk about the last part. So I've been targeting anytime I boost an advertisement, I boost it in Ghana because that's my next market. And then Zimbabwe is next. So there's a plan here. There's a 5-year plan. So Ghana will be familiar. There's a familiarity. Not that they can show up, but that I start brand placement and familiarity. So I'm developing relationships with these folks over there already. So recently we just got a letter from that same organization that I spoke at. And so the Atlanta Black Theater Festival opened up the opportunity for artists, filmmakers, and writers to join us for our 10th anniversary celebration in Ghana. So we're doing 10 days. 2 days are going to be in Atlanta, and 8 days are going to be in Ghana. Don't you know, in 30 days, I'm so glad people got it. We sold out the Ghana portion of it. So we have we have over 40 people that are going to join us in Ghana. Now, these people don't even know that. These artists, filmmakers, and writers don't even know what I'm getting ready to say. I just got a letter last week from the Screen Actors Guild. We're hosting a reception at a 5-star resort hotel And there are 5 media companies that have already signed on board to be there to greet us when we get there. These 40 some odd people. So I am so excited. It is just
That is amazing.
it is amazing. God is just opening up doors, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to make connections. And if you know anything about the African culture, it all begins with building relationships.
That's right.
Just relationship
Wow.
building. So we're going to have this meeting. It's going to be like a little mini conference, and we're going to do a poolside reception with drinks and everything at the Movenpick Hotel. And then it's going to be 100 people. And then we're going to walk across the street to the National Theater, and they are going to provide us with a private performance. So it is just red carpet. I can't wait until more and more people get wind of the fact that we're coming over there, and we're coming in response to their clarion call, their public invitation to come and collaborate with them.
This has been so amazing. For those of you who are out there who will hear this, what Toni has done and the Atlanta Black Theater Festival has done is not just say we're going to do something, but it's actually happening. And it's happening in such an amazing way. Toni, thank you so much for what you've done for us. And I don't mean us just here in Atlanta. I mean us all over the world. Every time we have this kind of a celebration going forward, this recognition will be called the Toni Award. The Toni. So you get the pun, so you get it immediately, because you have been the first person to receive this honor, and we really appreciate everything that you've done. So anyone in year 3 and year 4, you'll be the recipient of the Toni. So thank you so much for this. This is amazing. It's so great to have you. Real quick, you and I are going to talk to a couple of our colleagues about a couple of things that we do from a creativity perspective. So we're going to bring Ivory and Casey back up to talk about, if you're an actor out there, how do you get yourself going in these turbulent times? I'm going to bring them up real quick, and they're going to talk about that. So Casey and Ivory, you are on. So the question is for you guys, and we're going to start with Ivory first. You're going to talk about, you're an actor out there, and you want to talk to an actor about how do you get yourself going? Pandemic is over the horizon. What are a couple of things you need to do? And so kick us off with this conversation.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, Winston. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here among such amazing people. Miss Toni, oh my God, thank you for that opening speech. It resonated so well with me. Just thinking about, being a creative, and how when you're a creative, you absolutely have to create. You have to give birth to that baby, to that idea, that thing, that art project, that whatever it is that you have mustered up in your spirit, that you've conjured up in your spirit, that you are trying to manifest. And that's so true. I oftentimes share my story of how the two sides of me as an artist and a healer collided, and how I married the two. For years, I was an occupational therapist working with patients. And then I found myself just unhappy. I enjoyed meeting patients every day and hearing people's stories and helping people feel better, but I was so unhappy because I did not have any space in my life to create. I didn't have that spiritual space in my life where I could create. So that led me into just following that itch and exploring the need to scratch that itch to create. That led me into acting. And what I found was that when I began acting, my very first acting class, I crashed and burned, because I was standing up in front of a classroom full of people and a scene partner across from me. And this was 8 years ago. I'm in year 8 of my acting career. And I found myself not being able to feel anything that my scene partner was giving to me. And as an actor, you have to be able to be affected by your scene partner. And what I realized was that all of this trauma that I had experienced as a child, that was hindering me. That was keeping me from being able to feel. So a lot of times when we experience trauma, we suppress things. And so when we suppress our feelings, it's not selective. We're suppressing everything. So we don't allow ourselves to feel. We don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And I realized that was some work that I had to do. So I'll lead with saying if there are actors out there if you are a new actor, beginning actor, I'm a big advocate for healing. And I say, check in with yourself, making sure that the undercurrents of what you have going on is right, is okay, is in flow. Because what happens is a lot of time people will get into this industry just because it is they think it's glamorous and they think it's something that it's not, and people just want to be on TV or whatever. But when you come into this industry, you've got to be clear about whether or not this is something you really, really love, you truly love, because you can really only do it if you truly love it, because there's so much rejection in this industry, and you really have to create this nice little balance between confidence and being humble and being humble. And so it's a really nice, delicate balance that you have to create for yourself. And you have to have a solid sense of self. And you've got to be able to deal with your undercurrents of emotions in order to be able to access them and in a scene, and also just to move through the ebbs and the flows of this industry. So that would definitely be my advice for a seasoned therapist actors who've been in the industry. Continue to work on the craft and find other things to do. That is kind of, find other creative outlets. I don't know any actor who has not gotten to a point many times in their career where they say, I'm quitting acting, I'm done, or I'm taking a break. And that's okay. Know that it's okay to take a break from acting and get still and find something else that may pique your interest for the meantime, because if acting is for you, you will always circle back to it.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Ivory. That is awesome. So thematically, I'm hearing some things that we'll talk about, especially when we get to the panel part of this conversation. And it's really around healing and making sure that we are feeling what we're doing. So I'm going to ask Mr. Casey J. Ashley, our very first guest on the Creativity Cocktail, to talk about acting a little bit and some guidance he'd give for all of us actors out there. So Casey, the floor is yours.
First off, you got me following up Toni and Ivory. Man,
yeah, I did that on purpose. So.
Two intelligently beautiful women, and just had to say, I was really actually inspired by some of the words that Toni said regarding just upping and taking a chance and going to Colombia to really free her mind and spirit. I thought that was just inspirational for me, because one of the things that I will say that's important for all of us, especially being creatives, is that we need that outlet, and we need to feel like that we can have that creative outlet in any way that we can, right? And so what I've challenged myself, I think the pandemic has been interesting, right? Especially for creatives. But for me, it's actually been, even though, casting was down and bookings were down because there's a global pandemic going on, I think it was a great time for individuals to just go back to the basics and really start creating their own content. So for me, what I recommend for any actor or any creator, just to make sure that you're constantly being creative. And so for me, I was man, I was doing TikTok, you know, so I got onto TikTok. I started doing videos and just, you know, challenging myself there. And then I'll just get challenged with how many followers can I get, how many, you know, viral videos can I create, or, you know, just trying to do things. I started creating content of my own. So I did a YouTube channel, and, you know, Winston actually had you on my channel as well. So
That's
things
right.
that I knew that were in my control, instead of just sitting back waiting for, you know, the productions to start back, I said, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to actually, you know, start to create my own content. And I started editing things I didn't know I could even do. And so what I really recommend for any artist is just to make sure that you're always working on your craft. I think Ivory said the same thing. Continue and always work on your craft, and always educate yourself. Right before the pandemic hit, one thing that I did, I started going to classes. You know, I told myself, set goals. That's another thing. I set goals for myself. Said, hey, I've been doing a lot of commercial work. I want to get more into the film and TV. And so I really set some goals there. So I started working more with, you know, film and TV acting coaches, and networking more. And, you know, things slowed down. And after things started picking back up, you know, I started booking some of those things. And so it's just constantly believe in yourself, constantly drive, constantly work on it. It's not going to come to you. Ivory is right. It's not for the glamour. It's really hard work, and you got to be able to take on a lot of no's before you get that yes. But if you continue with it and stick with it, you will get that yes. All it takes is one person say, I like that person. They got the exact look or the exact energy that I need for this project.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Casey. So before we go to the next area, I want to make sure that our honoree gets to chime in on what Casey and Ivory just shared. So, Tony, if you had any thoughts about this wonderful comments from our two very first guests on the Creativity Cocktail, I'd love to hear them.
I was muted. My apologies. I think that it's just what you said, talking about healing and mental health. I think what really resonated with me was what Ivory said, and what thoughts came to mind was the exploitation. We're hearing about it all the time, the exploitation of people in the industry. And I always, to my son, you know, he was a typical teenage kid, and he said to me, he says, I want to be an artist. And I said, do you want to be an artist or do you want to be famous? And I always got to ask that question. So that's what came to mind when Ivory was talking. Do you want to be an artist or do you want to be famous? And that's why I started out with saying, if you can't do anything else, be an artist. But if you can do something else, you're not an artist. You're a creative, but you have another outlet. Because this business is so brutal. I spent a lot of time. I can have a lot of stories. I don't want to hog the conversation, but I'll save that. But that's really what resonated with me: just the healing part, the mental health, self-preservation, and just being self-aware.
That's fantastic, Tony. Thank you for that. The theme here that we all hear, and I've said this a lot, is that we've all gone through this together. This whole pandemic, everybody's going through it. Everyone will have something that comes out of it. So to hear Ivory and Casey and Tony talk about the fact that we've got to build each other up, we all got that power to do that, is so important. So in our next section, we're going to talk to someone who's done this for her whole career. She has been such an inspiration to many of us. Today, by the way, is Miss Tomina Ward's birthday. And so let's all give Tomina a wonderful round. I'm going to bring everybody up so we can all do it at the same time and give Tomina a round. As soon as Tomina gets her video back up. So I don't see Tomina on. So let's give Tomina a round, even though her video is not up right now, real quick. All right. So Tomina, she is a veteran of the she's a military veteran, and so her service to us has been incredible over these last 20 plus years. And so I thank her so much for what she's done for us as a country. So Tomina is up. There is Tomina. So Tomina, we're going to talk about some things from an inspirational perspective. I've heard you give talks you're transitioning into now a career where you talk about coaching and you help other people develop. I don't know if you heard us all say happy birthday to you, but we're all saying it to you again. So.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. This is such an amazing event, Winston. You always impress me, and to hear Toni, Miss Ivory, Casey, Natalie, this is always such a pleasure. I'm sure you saw me backstage. I've been dealing with something that's in my eye and it's driving me nuts, but I'm here. But so yes, I have spent the last 20 years in the Marine Corps, and there have been many challenges that I have had to deal with and had to overcome. Not only being in the military, but the Marine Corps is such a male-dominated organization. One of the most population of men is in the Marine Corps. So, being a woman, having to find herself while I've spent my career having to stand up for myself throughout my career. I just wanted to share one thing. One quick story is that, I joined in 2001, and in 2005, everybody's saying happy birthday. Thank you so much. In 2005, I got the call. I had to look at my 1-year-old daughter. She had just turned 1 a week prior, and I had to kiss her goodbye because I was heading to Iraq. So I was over in Iraq, and the base that I was on was it was Camp Al-Assad. It was the aviation base over there. You hear some people talk about and refer to it as Camp Cupcake, but that's because it was one of the bases that had the least deaths. So although it was Camp Cupcake, that did not stop the enemy for trying to overtake us and for trying to come and do harm, right? So there was one night that I remember oh so vividly. There was a loud noise, and we didn't know what it was. We were used to hearing the bombs come in, the mortars come in, but this was a different sound. This was a different type of noise. So I found myself, I opened up my can, which a can is where we stayed at night. It's probably about a storage container, about 6 by 8 feet. That's what we slept in. So I opened my can, and I noticed that other people were stepping out and looking around as well, trying to find out what was this loud noise. And all of a sudden, I saw other Marines running in one direction, and they had their rifles in their hands. And at that point, I realized that we were under attack and that it was closer than what I was used to hearing. It was closer than the other mortars and the bombs that we were used to hearing. That moment, I couldn't do anything but put on my vest. You all have seen it in the movies, the vest that they wear. I put my vest on. I put my hard hat, we call them Kevlars. I put my Kevlar on, and I got down on my knees. And I prayed to God, Lord God, please protect us. Lord God, please hold on to us. I knew that I had to make it back to my 1-year-old daughter. And when we get bombed, when the mortars came in, they often came in twos. So I was waiting for the next one, the next mortar to come in and take me out. I stand here today and I want to remind everyone that we all have mortars that are coming in life, coming here to take us out, but we are here today for our purpose. I want everyone to take a moment and think about what your mortar is. Is your mortar labeled insecurity, that you think that you can't make it through a certain situation? Or is your mortar labeled disappointment from something that happened, someone that hurt you in your past? Do you have a mortar that's bothering you? You feel like you're not good enough for that part, or you're not going to get that position. What is your mortar that is coming into your life to attempt to take you out? Think about that. We are here to stand up to those mortars. We're here to say, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, because we have the purpose to keep pushing through. So I want you to allow your mortars to become your miracles. God has been so good to us. I am blessed 42 years today on this earth. And I know that there is nothing that I haven't overcome that all of your listeners and everyone on the panel has not had to overcome as well. So I just wanted to take a moment to just encourage everyone to continue to be uncomfortable. Everyone has so many gifts that we haven't unopened just yet. Continue to share your gifts. Continue, there's so much talent that the world needs to see that you are bringing to the table and to the world, allowing them to be able to be themselves and see their values and their visions through what you all provide. And as you all stand on those stages, listening to Ivory and Casey and Wilson, you know, you writing that is amazing. That's inspiring. So continue to look at those mortars and push them out your way. There is so much power in our purpose. And there is so much more that we are here to provide the world. So I came back. And this is a story of coming back. I came back from over there. When I came back, I still had challenges. My daughter, when I left her, she had 4 teeth. When I came back, she had a full mouth of teeth. I missed those moments. I also had to reintegrate myself into her life. She didn't know who I was. She didn't know that I was her mother. I made it through that as well. So you have your comeback story, and everyone needs to hear it. Everyone needs to listen, because your comeback story is inspiring the world. So I just wanted to stop by. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a bit of my story and my journey, because we all have mortars and we all have comeback stories. So.
Well, Tamina, as always, every time I hear your voice and what you share with us, I feel it, and I feel the energy and your real, authentic spirituality. You give so much to so many people. And I hope those of you, if you're listening today or if you're listening at some other point, that you really hear those words that Tamina shared with us. You know, the time when we first, I always share the story that when we first talked to each other, we talked for like 4 hours.
Yes.
And I said to myself, oh my gosh, I feel the energy. Like, this is what's going to happen. So, yes. And it was at a moment where I needed that, where I probably felt the mortar around me. And I was like, my gosh, this young lady, so age ain't nothing but a number. This young lady has showed up here, and she is giving me so much at the time that I needed it. And so I hope that everyone that's out there, you say to yourself, I can create whatever the heck I feel like creating. Everything is created twice in this world. It's created in your mind first.
Yes.
And created by your action. So thank you so much, Tamina. I'm going to give the floor to Toni, our honoree, to see if she had any comments about what you just shared.
I'm speechless. I guess that's an easy way out. I got to process this. You know, Tamina, you said everybody has a mortar and everybody has an exit. And it's so true on so many levels, this mortar concept of mortar. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, look at us. Look at us. Look at all the beauty and the colors and the thoughts, and it's just too much.
Yes.
And when it becomes too much, it's light. And when the light shines, guess what happens? You attract mortars.
Yes.
You attract your enemy.
Yes.
The enemy wants to dim that light. And just being aware of that. The Bible even says that. The Bible says, just look around. Something is always looking to seeking to devour. The enemy is always looking and seeking to devour you. Yes. Be aware of that. Keep yourself open to that and looking for what is out there that's going to try to trip you up, and keep a clear mind and I ain't going to try to follow it. I'm just talking about what I got from it. Go ahead, Tabina.
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
Excellent. Good.
Thank you so much, Tamina, and thank you, Tony, as always. I hope those who are listening today understand that this event is an event for us to do so many things. It's an event for you to feel the voices of the people that are talking right now, but also to know that you've got that power to do something. You know, I share this all the time in the tagline that you are a masterpiece, every single one of us. Your job is every day to get up and make a little brushstroke on that masterpiece, just to keep that going, because God already created you a masterpiece.
Yes.
So just keep doing that. So Tamina, as always, great to hear from you. We are going to talk to every time I introduce this young lady, I kind of struggle because she is so powerful. And then everyone who hears her, all of the panelists know who I'm talking about. But when she starts to talk, it's like the world shakes a little bit. That we all go, oh my gosh, what happened? And so I'm going to bring in Miss Natalie Fikes real quick to talk to us. So Natalie, I hope you're still here with us. And so we want you to really share a message to us that are all of us are creatives. So we're ready for you to do what you do.
You are necessary. Period. Period. That's all I have to say. You are necessary. It doesn't matter how big, how small that thought that you have, it's necessary. You know why? Because you wouldn't have the thought if it wasn't necessary. You have to ask yourself, what do you want? And be absolutely relentless about achieving and accomplishing that thing. A no is not the end of the world. Why? Because you are necessary. But there's a process that we all go through. It's a clarity process. It's what do you want? What are the obstacles? And what do you have to do to overcome those obstacles to get what you want? Writer's block is an obstacle, right? Getting booked is what obstacles are you putting in the way? Like my colleagues have said, it all starts in the mind. Like one day, I know what I want, chicken wings. Okay. So I go outside to get in my car and it won't start. So I check the engine. I check all the big parts of the car and nothing. I'm thinking the worst. Oh, is it the radiator? Oh, is it this? All thoughts start getting in my head. And I'm like defeated, right? And then so I start calling people and asking people, and they weren't the right people to ask, right? So that further gets into my mind about what's wrong with the car. I totally forgot about the chicken wings. I'm so focused on the problem. It wasn't until I spoke to the right person that says, hey, have you eliminated all of the possible obstacles? And I was like, I don't even know what you mean. The car won't start and I want chicken wings. And they said, well, did you check the bulbs? Have you checked this and that? I'm like, I'm not even equipped. Right? And so they come and guess what? Something that I had made so big was a $3 light bulb. Let me tell you something. That car was not going anywhere because that bulb was necessary. Okay, we always looking at the producers and the directors and the casting directors and everybody except for you, because you have made it up in your mind that you are not necessary, that things could possibly move on without you. Absolutely not. If you do not show up, something is missing. If you don't write that thing, if you don't do that thing, we are void of the very thing that we need and want in this world, which is to be free, which is to be inspired, which is to be energized, which is chicken wings. Sometimes it's just chicken wings. But you have to be in position. What you have told yourself in your mind is not it. You created an obstacle instead of removing the ones that are always going to be there. You have got, if you want that role, you have got to study to show yourself approved. You have to get the healing that you need. You have to overcome those obstacles, those martyrs. You have to go out and you have to show up and show out and do what it is that you need to do. You are the light bulb that is missing. And if you put a $3 price tag on yourself and think that you're not valuable, then you have missed it, because nothing is going to happen without you showing up. So the first thing I need you to do is I need you to grow up. I need you to grow up. It's not the thoughts, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're not pretty enough. Oh, you're not smart enough. None of those things are relevant. You have to grow up and say, that did I do what I was supposed to do? Because that's the only thing that matters. And then you got to show up. You have to show up, not just being present, but ready to show out. You got to be ready. You got to be set. You got to be on go. And when it's your time, when you walk in those rooms, when you present what you have worked on, what has been inside of you, you got to glow up, baby. You got to glow up. Don't sell yourself short. Don't act like this is just something that maybe it possibly, can you please? No, let me tell you why the world needs what's inside of me. Because something is missing without it. I am a part of a whole that moves us all forward, a whole that is missing if I don't grow up, show up, and glow up and present every little light that is inside of me to get us all what it is that we want. I don't care if it's chicken wings. Get what you want. Because when I tell you I told them chicken wings up that day, I told them chicken wings up that day. Because everything was in position. I'm just asking you, will you get out of your head, stop creating obstacles, and get in position?
As always, grow up, show up, and glow up. If anyone hears anything else we said, grow up, show up, and glow up. Natalie, you are so amazing. You are so awesome. So Toni, jump in here. Tell us what your thoughts are.
Selah.
So wonderful.
Selah. That's it. When you read the Bible and the last paragraph says Selah, that means there's nothing else left to be said. Selah. Amen. Ashe.
That's fantastic. Thank you. So I'm going to bring up a brother who I've known for almost 20 years, and he is been focused on creating beautiful music career. I tell you, for those of you who know me, know that I love hip hop. It's what I grew up on. It's the voice of my life. And so I am so thrilled to have Mr. 23 join us. So Alpha, I don't know if you're here with us. We can see you a little bit. Look at that. He's all masked up, ready to join the conversation. And then after that, we're going to go to our panel conversation. So Mr. Alpha 23, the floor is yours, brother. Tell us some stuff. So we're hearing you on mute. I know you got dope, wonderful things to say. We can't catch your voice here. You look fantastic. You look great, but I can't hear what you're saying right now. So you are great stuff. Everyone, you can hear Mr. Alpha. So I think we've got you on. We're going to put you backstage for a second so we can figure out your audio stuff that's going on. And I'm going to bring up Tomina real quick and Ivory real quick. And we're going to just talk a little bit about what we've heard so far. So Ivory is on video. So Tomina, how are you? You heard Natalie talk. Natalie is obviously always. Every time I hear Natalie talk, I feel like I gotta go write something real quick. I gotta go and do something. I gotta get up. Get up. I got a conversation. I gotta go do something else. I gotta go because it's just that kind of way. It really is.
it's that power. I put in the chat, such a powerful powerhouse speaker. You feel it in your soul, in your fiber, your being as she talks. And then she throws in the comedy. So, you know, you got both sides. She's just such a wonderful speaker. So absolutely makes me want to get out. Well, I did my ride on my Peloton today, but make me feel like getting back on that Peloton because I'm just energized after hearing Miss Natalie speak. That's what that is. Beautiful.
That is wonderful, wonderful.
Do I have sound now?
Oh yeah. Everyone can hear Mr. Alpha 23.
Sorry about that.
So we're gonna hear him talk a little bit, and then we're gonna do this wonderful panel conversation because I got some great things I want to share with everybody.
To be honest with you, I'll tell you what really happened is I just was not prepared to go behind the last speech. So I needed a few more minutes to get my life together. I had to step off. I ran in the bank, did a few laps, came back. So that's what that was. That was actually inspirational.
You did what Natalie said. You got up.
I took a look. I put it up. Okay, let's try this. Let's give it a shot. It works. Listen. I think that I did actually find something that really will add value to the conversation today because, broadly speaking, everything's already been said. This is a room full of creatives, and if you've been a creative for any period of time, you know what it's like. Your struggle is real, but if you don't run towards the flames, then you're not a creative. I've had 2 careers, sales and music, and so for some, I'm a nihilist of some type. I don't know why, because I could have chosen a much easier life. But I'm reminded of a quote by a very, very a great man, quite frankly, and it is, don't choose an easy life, pray for a difficult one and the strength to get through it. And that resonated with me personally because I've lived an easy life. But one of the earlier panelists said, be ready to be uncomfortable. The young lady who was in the Marines. I think all of us can sit here and strum a guitar. All of us can get on a microphone and say something. All of us can look at the news and have opine about what's going on in the world. But when somebody grabs the rifle and as they say, here's a call of duty and actually gets strapped up and goes and does that and leaves a 1-year-old daughter behind to basically become a stranger to their mother, that is, in my mind, something that transcends personal duty. And I think that once you're done there, and once you've left that space and you come back to the real world and you're working hard to unlock your face within that young child and realizing the sacrifice that you made, it's in those moments that you really have a simple appreciation for that journey. And I think that is a great analogy to what it's like to be a creative. Because if you're truly going to be a creative, you're going to let go of all the things that make you safe. You're going to let go of all the things that allow you to be in a comfort zone. For example, all of us want to be famous, but none of us like to be critiqued naturally. That's a very natural human tendency to not like to be told no, to not hear that what you did is good, great, or what have you. But the reality is that if you're really going to be a creative, you have to be willing to walk into those flames. Just like in the Bible, right? The 3 guys walk into the flames. And I'm sure we all remember that story. But the reality is that's faith. And stepping out on faith is the only way you're going to get to the finish line. Trust me on that. But I actually am going to take a different angle, and I'll be very quick here, because I think this adds more value to everyone in the room. And it is what I've been on a personal journey to do. And I'll say that as part of this journey, I'm available to everybody to help everybody get better in this area. Because I think if you improve in this one area, you will make amazing leaps towards accelerating your career as a creative. And what that is understanding that the world has changed and we're in a digital world today. We're no longer in an analog world. And it's hard, I think, for you guys, because you guys are in a play space, which has in the past traditionally been something that people go into a room, sit down, and it's a very visceral, very face-to-face experience. But I thought about the Beyond Borders thing. And the thing that really stands out to me is you cannot have that without the internet. You cannot have that without broadband, because the true strength in that lies in the ability to connect people in different places. Whereas I'm in the continental United States, you're in Colombia, this person's in Africa, this person. The one thing that ties all that together, the thing that binds that is the internet. First things first, I want everyone, when you have an opportunity, to follow me on Instagram. It's simply_alpha. Simply_alpha. And when I say alpha, it's not alpha male, it's alpha as in alpha and omega, beginning and the end, just to clarify that. So you guys are a small group of people to understand what alpha means when I say it. 1, and the number behind that is 2, and the number behind that is 3. It represents simplicity in the journey, just to point that out. But anyway, follow me on Instagram, something_alpha. That's the beginning of our journey. That's how we'll connect, because that's how I connect with people today. And just like Winston is doing today, I think he's being a standard bearer for what you guys have to understand is the future. You guys are actors. If you're not looking at Will Smith and other actors and looking at how they've transitioned, then you're not really understanding how the world has changed. Will Smith didn't get famous again until he got back on TikTok and ran his TikTok over like 5 million very quickly. You'll notice that there's a direct correlation between that and all of his Netflix movies. And that's because Netflix selects the actors that they work with by their social media following, because Netflix does not advertise in the traditional sense. They're looking for actors who have a social following who can automatically bring people to their platform. So is Spotify, so is Instagram, and so is every other social media platform. So the value that you create for these platforms is in your ability to create an audience and bring it to that platform. And those are some of the things, and I'll leave it at that, because as I said, I need you guys to connect with me on social media, and I will work with you personally to help you accelerate your growth in that area. But without that one little nugget, it is going to be a lot harder in 2021 and beyond to find yourself getting those roles. They're available to you. And in fact, if you take a different angle of approach, you will find yourself at the top of a very, very small list of actors that are doing very, very well, because they've taken a different approach to how they act. More and more, we're going to be watching people act not in a theater, but over a computer screen, right? And it's going to be a show. It's going to be a play. It's going to have all the trappings, but people just want to stay home. And with the proliferation of 5G, that's going to make it even more so. So I commend you, Tommy, on what you're doing. Tony, excuse me, on what you're doing, because you're already there. Like, you already got it, right? But if you're messing with Winston, then I already know, like, Winston, that's my brother. So listen, that's all I got. I took a little bit more time than I wanted, but I want to commend everybody for what you're doing. Keep an eye out for me, because I'm going to say this right now. I will be the #1 person in music in less than 6 months. And I know that sounds like a lofty goal, but I'm already on the way. So call it what you will. I call it confidence. So let's get it.
That's awesome. So it's so cool, because when I hear you talk, I hear Natalie talk, I hear Tamina talk, I hear Tony talk. We all have the same vision and view of the future in this, and we're doing this all with confidence. So it's okay to talk about the confidence that we have, because we got it. We are going to do what we need to do. We're going to go to Ghana. We're going to support all of the different theaters that are out there. We're going to blow up in hip hop. We're going to do it all because we deserve it. Natalie said, you are necessary. And so we all are necessary, and we all deserve what we want. I'm channeling my inner Nat without having her same voice. And so now we're going to bring everybody up, and we're going to do a nice little cool panel conversation here. So we're going to talk with everyone for a moment. So the question I'll have for everybody, and I'm going to start off with Toni first, because she is our honoree, is that, and I think we've answered this quite a bit already, is that as we think about the future and we think about all the things that we're coming out of, this collective trauma that we have, and I've heard a lot of us say healing. If I'm sitting out there and I'm listening right now and I'm like, man, Creativity Cocktail, I listen to all these great people, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do first. I heard all of the different things to do, but I want to get up. Like Natalie said, what's a thing that we need to do to heal and to get started as a creative right now? And every single one of us is going to answer this question. So Toni, you will kick us off with that.
I'm going to start by saying, get yourself some chicken wings.
I agree with that. It's a good place to start. You gotta have a full stomach no matter what it is. Make sure you have a full stomach. Rule number 1.
Right. Feed that soul. Feed that spirit.
That's right. You can't go wrong with
You can't start anything hungry.
You saw the Snickers commercials. This is you when you're hungry.
That's why I'm telling you, I met Natalie, and I got to spend 15 minutes with her, and my life changed. So call Natalie, get that 15-minute shot in the arm. But yeah, you can't go anywhere hungry. You can't start anything hungry. You got to feed yourself. You have to feed your spirit. You have to feed your soul. You got to be stable.
Yes. Facts.
You got to be stable. And this is going to sound so judgmental, but it also it spins off of the it's appropriate because we're talking about you started out with a scene from your play where a woman had a baby and she wasn't ready to have a baby. So I want to just translate that to every level of what we do. Sometimes we put stuff out and it's not ready yet. Make sure it's ready. Make sure it's incubated and it's developed and it's good. You know, being in the position that I'm in, I read so many plays, so much stuff. I see so much stuff and it ain't ready yet. So you can't put it out there before it's ready. So just make sure it's done and just sit back and eat a chicken wing. Wait till it's ready. Cultivate it. So
it's awesome. So Tamina, the floor is yours to talk about this.
So, you know, my background is a bit different, but what I would say is that, you know, throughout my military career, I lost myself. It's easy for that to happen when you're in an organization where you live, breathe 24/7. It's the mission. So, you know, when you lose yourself, it's hard for you to be authentic. It's hard for you to be genuine. And it kind of ties into what Ivory was talking about, you know, being on scene and not connecting with that person on stage and on scene. So if you don't know who you are inside, if you have lost yourself because of trauma, because of past issues, because of, you know, the cycle of hurt that we find ourselves in, then it's going to be hard for you to show up anywhere effectively and do anything effectively and be able to pour into anyone else, whether it's, you know, with your voice, with your art, you know, with being a mentor, a leader. But it starts with self, doing some self-reflection, some self-evaluation. But you have to know who you are inside and be clear and be confident in that, to where when you do show up in front of the world and in front of everyone else, like Toni said, you're ready. You got to be ready, but it starts with you inside first in order for you to be ready for the world.
That is wonderful, Tamina. So now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Natalie. Are you there, Natalie? All right, we got Natalie on mute, but you know she's bringing the heat on whatever she says.
You can't mute
Here we are.
me. You can't.
We got you.
You gotta have your destination set. You know, Alpha said, let me just let y'all know what's about to go down in 6 months. So you're not shocked. So you're not behind. And if I was you, I would do whatever I needed to do to help push me and get there. I'm letting you know from the start. We like to sit in the back and don't let folks know what we're doing, right? What do you want? Okay, let people know this is what I came to do. This is what I'm doing. I don't care about no coronavirus. I don't care about nothing. I don't care what you say about me. I don't care if they take all the bald-headed people off the planet. This is what's gonna happen, and it's gonna go down with or without your permission because I said so. Okay? Because only thing that will come in your way is an obstacle, is a martyr, but you got to have your plan, right? You know, you could get with this or you could get with that, because this is where it's at. Let's be real clear about it. It doesn't matter. No matter what, this is going down. But you got to understand that life is in phases, right? We get so quick and so happy about the hot pockets, right? And you only got that thing cooked on both sides, but it's cold on the middle. So you keep getting there and it's all good. You all starting off all excited. Woo, woo, woo. Roadblock. And it's cold in the middle. You didn't do all the work through, like Toni said. You didn't let it cook, right? Or you have these wins and you're like, I got booked on this or whatever. Yay! Like Love and Basketball when Monica hit that shot and she was posing and then got dunked, you know, got scored on. And the coach was like, what is you doing? The game is not over yet. We are not there yet. Okay? So don't get full off the hot pocket, the microwavable stuff. That's not the big thing. Those are the little things to sustain you along the way. Y'all don't eat hot pockets, okay? Get you some chicken wings. The next thing you want to do is you want to understand that you need your saucepan. There's some things that got to marinate. Some things gotta marinate. You gotta get your sauce. Know what sauce is. When Natalie come in the room, it's hot sauce. Okay? You gonna get some hot sauce, right? And so you need to know what your sauce is. What do you bring to the situation? You gotta know what is your sauce. You can't sauce like Natalie, but you could be your own hot sauce, and that don't make no sauce better than the other. Just know what sauce you are and let it marinate, right? And then your crock pot is that thing that you want. Baby, it's going to take time to cook. It has got to, you got to make sure it's falling off the bones. You got to make sure that thing is going to be able to sustain you for your life, right? So understand what those phases are, and don't think you're not good enough in the Hot Pocket stage. Don't think you're not good enough because you haven't quite figured out what your sauce is, right? Just keep your mind set on what that crock pot is, and it will sustain you for the rest of your life. You have your entire life to achieve whatever you're here to do. So don't let your season stop you.
Whew. All right. Whew. There is my Nat, as always. Oh my gosh. The cool thing, and I was waiting until the end to share this with everyone, but this celebration takes us to a significant milestone. And so over the last 2 years, once we take this and we put it into the sections of every single person talking, that will mean that we will have 100 episodes of the Creativity Contest.
Congratulations.
100 episodes. And I committed to this very early on in this, is that the 100 episodes are going to be combined into a audiobook with every single person, artists, entrepreneurs, playwrights, public speakers, veterans. Everybody's going to have a section as far as giving creatives that are out there all of the knowledge that we've collected over these last 2 years. And they're going to be able to download this audio book and put it on their whatever, their Audible or their phone or whatever, and they're going to be able to hear the story. I was going to wait till the end, but man, you guys got me going. You know what happens when you get a brother going, brother from the NY going, I lose it. I become a code switch from Winston, just regular, cool. I get like all ready to lose my mind because you guys give me that energy. And so I'm going to bring Miss Ivory up to talk about what we've been talking today. And Ivory, as you know, she's like this healing spirit that every time you hear her talk, all of a sudden your soul, you get like, oh gosh, I feel better. So Ivory, talk to us about guidance going forward. Talk about that.
Oh, wow. I mean, what did Miss Toni say earlier? Selah, is really nothing else to say. I shade to everything that everyone has said. I'll end with this. One of my favorite quotes is "The fortune favors the bold," and I truly believe that, and I do live by that. I do believe that when you want something, you absolutely have to be bold, and you have to be clear about it first, and you've got to be bold about it, and you've got to take action on it, and you've got to hold on to the vision, the dream, the desire. Hold on to it in your heart and in your mind, no matter what is going on. When things around you seem shaky, when things don't look right, when you're not getting the answers that you want, when you're not getting the doors that you think should be opening, they aren't opening. Holding on to your vision, that crystal clear vision is super, it's imperative. It's mandatory in order for you to take yourself to that next dimension and that next level and live and create the life that you want. And I always encourage people to check in with yourself first, and make sure that your vision, again, when I talk about being very clear, make sure that that vision is your vision and not someone else's vision. Because what happens is oftentimes we see everybody else doing things that are great, or our parents want us to do certain things, or we're, because of we have certain responsibilities that we have to marry ourselves to. I just invite people to make sure that you go back to self, to make sure that you are living your own desire, your heart's desires, and not the world's desires, not the world's expectations, your own expectations and your own heart's desires. Because if you don't do that and you move and you're going through all of these trials and tribulations, you're not going to be satisfied and fulfilled and happy, and you'll be always searching for the next thing. You're going to be always searching and chasing for joy. So make sure that you check in with yourself. I'm a big fan of meditation, and that's the way that you tap into spirit. And yeah, that's my advice for getting started, family.
That's awesome.
That is wonderful. As always, I feel it. Oh my gosh. After this is, I don't know what you guys are going to do after this is over. I'm about to turn on some music. I'm about to go and see what's going on. I'm going to play some hip hop from now all the way back. I'm going to play every single freaking year, going back to when I first heard it.
Our host is so blown away. He just needed a minute. He just needed a minute to gather himself.
That is wonderful. So I'm going to give everyone an opportunity. For those of you who are listening to us out there, I hope that you hear this and you hear the message from every single one of our colleagues today. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each one of them and each one of you. We've had people listen to this podcast as far away as Australia and New Zealand and Africa, everywhere, because every single human being wants to know that they're creative and they got that ability to do so. So I'm going to have every single person go around and kind of give us some parting words, and then we're going to end with Toni, and then I'll say something finally. So I'm going to let Tomina give us her first final remarks for today.
Thank you so much, Winston. Oh my goodness, this has fed my soul today. When I was pushing it out to other people, I'm like, this is food for the soul. So This has been so amazing, such an amazing event. And I'm forever grateful for being able to be part of your circle. Like you said, we talked a while ago, and you brought me into this circle, and I'm very appreciative. I just want to end with, we all have gifts. Just continue to work and open your gifts. There's so much doubt and insecurity and, hurt and pain in the world. Your gifts help to deliver other people. So the more that you understand what your gifts do, not only for you, I always say that things don't happen to you, they happen for you. But they happen to you, for you, and also for other people. So the more that you utilize your gifts and your trials to help uncover, what you do and uncover other people's gifts, it's just spreading more light in the world. So keep pushing, keep living. Our girl Natalie, growing up, get up, glow up, all of it. Show up for you, because you owe it to you. This has been an amazing event. I love you all so much. And I thank you so much, Winston, for allowing me to be part of your event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tomina. I appreciate you so much. And so now we're going to have Mr. Alpha 23 say some words for us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
I definitely want to start out by saying, first of all, ladies, give it up to yourselves. I mean, like, honestly, being one of the few guys in the room, it's really refreshing to hear the thoughts on creativity from a female perspective. And I think that, yes, it's just so much energy, so much enthusiasm, so much drive. And we as a people always need to remember that we're one and work is one, and one hand washes the other. I'll tell you right now, there's not a person in this room who cannot tap in with me, who cannot get my support. If you follow me and if I follow you on Instagram, I'm going to comment on every post. I'm going to like every picture, because I understand the importance of just sometimes that little nugget really goes a long way. And I just really want to give you guys all credit, kudos, y'all. I learned so much today, and that's, I mean, like, seriously. My personal philosophy around what I do is very simple. It starts with having fun, then making money, and then making a difference in the world. And I put it in that order for a reason. Nothing that I do has value if I don't find myself enjoying doing it. And that's even when I'm doing heavy administrative work, right? Filling out copyright paperwork, submitting a song to a different DSP, some other craziness. I'm doing it all, right? Fully independent artist. But I always find myself enjoying every piece of it. And that's critical to me, to the motivation piece, right? The second piece of it is making money. And that's important because understand this. It costs money. If, like, for example, being an independent artist costs a lot of money. It's no different than opening up a restaurant, quite frankly. It's actually cheaper to open up a restaurant. People just don't realize that. And so you have permission to make money. You have permission to demand a rate that represents your value. Because until you create a value, no one's going to pay you that value. And so whatever that number is, you know, once you reach that number, you can't go behind that number again. You know how Hollywood is. People, once they hit 20 million a movie, you can't go back behind that unless you just start to do auteur pieces and art pieces just for the love of the craft. But you have permission to get paid for what you do, and make sure that you're looking for those opportunities. And when you're in front of people, do not be afraid, because I'll tell you that what separates a lot of people who get roles from those who don't is the person who walked in the room and acted like they belonged there. And then finally making a difference. And I think that for me, that's the most important thing. So it goes third, not because it's the least important, because it'll be what I dedicate the majority of my life to, is that once you do have a forum and a platform to make a difference, you damn sure better make it. Because if you don't use the platform that you created to make somebody else's life better, to help somebody else be successful, to help somebody else find a way through the dark times, if you don't pay it forward, then you did not only get a gift from God and not use it, but you actually misuse that God. And that is a sin. Right. We have a responsibility to make a difference out here. I personally feel like everything that we talked about today really centered around that. The story of George Floyd, may his soul rest in peace. We all were affected by that. And I, as an artist, will damn sure make sure that my voice is heard in that struggle. Period.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So I don't know where Miss Natalie went. Oh, there she is. So Natalie, we're going to bring you up and have you talk a little bit about some final remarks for us. I think we might have lost her. Hang on a second.
Where I'm going, Winston? I ain't going nowhere. I just want you. I just want to give a huge shout out to the platform builders like yourself, Winston, like you, Tony. Like, we can't come together without people like you. And when you build platforms, it's like, yo, that stuff is hard, right? Because you're not just building a platform for you, right? That's one thing. You are building a platform for other people. You are a bridge, right? And so what I want to say to the creatives out there is that you should help somebody else build their bridge before you go out here trying to build your own. There is a beauty in service. There is something of humanity and humility that comes with service. Like Tomina said, like, we all have gifts and they should be opened, right? But sometimes your gift is in the immaturity stage. Sometimes your gift is not enough set alone by itself. It needs to be developed. It needs environment. You need to connect with other people. And there are people who have gone before you. And it's like, you over here doing this and this person over here doing that and all that other stuff. Those are the things that divide us. Pour into the people who have put in the work because it takes a lot of work to be the bridge.
Yes, sir.
And don't sit there with your hand out all the time like, what am I going to get, and all of that stuff. Serve in silence, just to be that little light that nobody ain't checking for, but has everything to do with why things are moving forward. Because promotion doesn't come from the east or the west. It comes from the Lord, and the heart of the king is always in the hands of the Lord, and he will turn it whichever way he wants to. We sitting here thinking it's about talent and looks and all that other stuff. Where we get it from, y'all? He is the source, and everything else is a resource. Be the best resource that you can be with the gifts that you have been given, because you are absolutely necessary.
Woo-woo.
All right.
Well said.
That is amazing as always. We love you. I love you. You give so much to others, and it's just how our lives are. And so I appreciate that so much. You know, I once had a talk at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. Tony allowed me to talk, and I shared this thing around. Service was the first thing. Service, action, investment, and love. And then if you sail, then you will obviously help the tide rise for other people, if you do that way. So Miss Ivory, share with us some final comments from your view. Thank you so much.
Oh, ashe, ashe, ashe. My goodness. I mean, everything that all the queens have said, there's not much left to say. I'll just say this to anyone who is listening: don't mess around and miss your mission. We all come here for a specific mission. Don't be distracted by what you see. Don't be distracted by your insecurities. Don't be distracted by your past trauma. Deal with that stuff so you can get on to getting to your mission. Ashe, and I'll leave with that.
Thank you so much. That is wonderful. And our honoree today, thank you, Toni, for everything that you've done for others. So sometimes you don't even know what you do to all the people that either hear about, come about to the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. There's so many people that are in the wake of all the service you do. So I want to make sure you give some comments for us here today. We can hear you. We can see your mouth moving.
First of all, I am so humbled by the acknowledgement. It takes a whole lot of, like Natalie said, a lot of work to do what you do. And when you can pull from your peers who are just phenomenal to say, you know, thank you. It means a lot, and it allow me. I've got enough energy right now to go another 10 years from just today. So thank you for that, because it does get hard, and you do want to throw in the towel. And what I want to do is I just want to summarize kind of like what my feelings are from the beginning, from the very opening to right now. And it's like just these four things, these four takeaways that I got. And one is we are made in the image of God, and making. So everything we make, it flows through us as a vessel. Once we make it, the next thing we got to do is master it. Even Michelangelo had a teacher. We got to master it. Once we master it, then we've got to market it. And before when I talked about selling it to somebody who wants to buy it, you know, don't waste your time getting affirmation outside of yourself. I mean, outside of your community. You know, I just want to say it. White man's ice is not colder. It's just not. So go where you are affirmed, celebrated. And I think Jeanette said this in the comment, not tolerated, but celebrated. I'm so tired of us knocking on doors, trying to get the crumbs. We still getting the chitlins from the pig. they still throwing us to chitlins, and we making it up like it's a gourmet meal. We so happy when we get it, and we up there talking about I got the Tony, and I got not the Tony with an I, the Tony with a Y. I got the Oscar. I got forget all of that. We are enough. Our community is enough. They already know that. It's for us to teach ourselves that. And then after you finish all of that, your target market and knowing to sell your stuff to people who want to buy it, and that's beyond borders as well. Because again, I'm going to say it is 1.3 billion people in Africa who want to hear and see what you got to say. And then the final thing is then you can matter. Once you get all of those 4 things, that's how you can make a difference. You can give back. You can pull somebody along with you. You can bring the others up. So those are the 4 steps that I took from all of this today. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to do what Ivory said. I'm going to go back and meditate on it and pray about it. Selah.
Thank you so much, Toni. And thank you for all of those who've listened to this today. Years ago, I shared that each one of us have gone through something in our lives. Each one of us have the ability to say to ourselves, what are we going to do with what's happened? I've gone through stuff. You've gone through stuff. But what I have found is that each one of us have not just one, but we all have multiple superpowers. We all have something that the world wants and the world needs. You heard it from Toni. You heard it from Natalie. You heard it from Ivory. You heard it from Tamina. You heard it from Alpha. You heard it from all of us because it's true. You all have an ability to create something amazing in this world. You all have your own MS, your own multiple superpower that you can transform your environment right now. You can say, you know what? I got this thing. Get it out of the damn shoebox. Get it out of the hard drive. Wherever it is, make that daggone thing work for real. We love you. God loves you. God didn't create you here so you could just consume stuff. He created so you can consume and create a cycle of dopeness that the world's got to see. I've loved doing this creativity cocktail for these last 2 years. I hope all of you all will return for year 3, year 4, year 5. I hope you all get down and be part of that because I think it was Alpha and Tamina who shared that creating a platform is a challenge, but it's so bloody worth it. It's so worth it that someone somewhere at some point later on, like Alpha said, the internet will carry this conversation across the daggone planet. And somebody's going to hear what somebody had to say today. And they're going to say to themselves, man, who are these people? How can I get down with them? Or how can I get out of my own daggone way? You are the obstacle most of the times to your stuff not getting done because we're afraid. We are the obstacles to our own success. So the creativity cocktail is here. In the next year, we're going to celebrate again. We're going to give the Toni to another person, and hopefully that person will be really receptive to it. I hope you all have enjoyed this today. I hope I'm bringing everybody in so we can just give one last round to each other, because we all deserve to give a round to each other. So let's go ahead and do that. Give it as loud as we can. And with that being said, this is the second year celebration of the Creativity Cocktail. Look for some more beautiful things coming from us here in the future. So with that being said, thank you all. Take care, and we'll see you soon.